16 years. In television time, that's several lifetimes. Characters evolve, jokes become obsolete, and what once elicited a laugh track can now raise eyebrows, or worse, outright cringe. And nowhere is this more apparent than when revisiting certain episodes of long-running sitcoms like The Big Bang Theory. While the show earned massive popularity for its geek-centric humor, quirky characters, and undeniable chemistry among its core cast, it also tiptoed, and sometimes stomped, across lines that today's audiences find far less acceptable. One episode, in particular, Season 2, Episode 15, titled, The Maternal Capacitance, stands out as especially problematic. At the time, it was considered a fan favorite. Now, 16 years later, it reads more like a cautionary tale of dated humor, gender stereotypes, and emotional immaturity thinly veiled as charm. Let's break down why this episode, in the rearview mirror, has aged like milk in the California sun. The premise: enter Beverly Hofstadter. The episode revolves around the arrival of Leonard's emotionally distant mother, Beverly Hofstadter, a psychiatrist and neuroscientist. From the moment she steps into Sheldon and Leonard's apartment, the dynamic shifts. Sheldon is instantly enamored with her clinical nature, while Leonard reverts to a neurotic mess trying to deal with his mother's lack of emotional connection. On the surface, the episode seems like a comedic goldmine. And it was, for its time. Christine Baranski delivered a stellar performance, matching Sheldon's pedantry note for note. But beneath the banter lies an undercurrent of unresolved trauma and emotional neglect, played for laughs. Here's the thing. Jokes about emotionally distant mothers and stunted adult sons are easy targets in comedy. But the problem isn't just the subject matter, it's how The Big Bang Theory handles it. Trauma for a laugh track. 16 years ago, the portrayal of Leonard's trauma was brushed off as a source of humor. He's mocked not only by his mother but also by his so-called friends. The audience is nudged to laugh at Leonard's pain rather than empathize with it. Beverly clinically dissects Leonard's personal life, invalidates his feelings, and shares intimate details with strangers. In any other context, it would be a dramatic moment. But here, the scene is laced with jokes and a raucous laugh track. It tells viewers, this isn't trauma, this is comedy. Looking back, this setup feels tone-deaf. Today's audiences are far more attuned to the effects of parental neglect and psychological manipulation. Leonard's behavior, his need for validation, his desperation to please others, is symptomatic of deeper emotional scars. But rather than exploring these with nuance or even acknowledging them sincerely, the episode mines them for cheap laughs. What's worse, the implication that Sheldon, a man who frequently disregards social boundaries, is the only one who truly appreciates Beverly. It frames emotional detachment as intellectually superior, and emotional vulnerability as weakness. That message hasn't aged well. Penny's role, and the gender stereotypes. And then there's Penny. She's often used as the normal lens through which the audience views the quirky world of the main characters. But in this episode, her role is more decorative than ever. When Beverly gets drunk with Penny and they bond over their mothers, the writers dip into shallow characterizations. Penny is portrayed as the emotional, unintellectual foil to Beverly's cold rationality. The two women are pitted against each other on the basis of intelligence versus emotion, reinforcing tired gender stereotypes, the hysterical blonde and the frigid academic. Their drunken bonding is played for laughs, but again, it undercuts something more meaningful. Here are two women with complex mother-daughter relationships. This could have been a poignant exploration of femininity, generational expectations, or even the different ways women cope with emotional repression. Instead, we get giggles over bathroom overshares and tequila shots. It's a missed opportunity dressed in sitcom glitter. The bigger picture. Comedy that didn't evolve. While The Big Bang Theory had moments of emotional depth, episodes like The Maternal Capacitance reveal the show's consistent refusal to fully engage with the emotional implications of its characters' backstories. Leonard's parental trauma, Sheldon's probable neurodivergence, Raj's cultural displacement, all were poked at, but rarely explored with sincerity. In 2009, this approach worked. The sitcom world was still built on laugh tracks, fast-paced zingers, and slapstick misunderstandings. But in 2025, TV has grown up. We've seen shows like BoJack Horseman, Ted Lasso, and The Bear that balance comedy with psychological nuance. Audiences are more discerning now. They want layered characters, not caricatures. That's not to say comedy can't poke fun at pain. But the best comedy today does so with a wink of self-awareness and, more importantly, empathy. The Big Bang Theory often lacked both. What could have been? 16 years later, it's easy to imagine how this episode could have been different in a modern remake. Beverly could still be cold and clinical, but her relationship with Leonard might be explored more thoughtfully, perhaps leading to a moment of unexpected vulnerability that deepens both characters. Penny could serve as a bridge between Beverly and Leonard, not just a comic foil. Instead of the drunken bonding scene, maybe Penny helps Leonard articulate what he needs from his mother, turning the episode into a subtle exploration of boundaries and emotional honesty. Sheldon could still idolize Beverly, but perhaps come to realize that intellect devoid of empathy is not the highest form of human achievement. In a better version of this episode, all characters grow, even just a little. Final thoughts. Nostalgia versus accountability. It's tempting to give older sitcoms a free pass. After all, they're products of their time, right? But acknowledging that doesn't mean we shouldn't critique them. In fact, it's essential to revisit pop culture through a modern lens, not to cancel the past, but to understand how far we've come and how far we still have to go. The Big Bang Theory offered audiences laughter, geeky camaraderie, and quotable catchphrases. But it also brought with it a legacy of problematic storytelling that's impossible to ignore in 2025. The maternal capacitance may have made us laugh in 2009, but today it serves as a reminder. Comedy evolves, and what was once funny can, with time, become uncomfortable, even painful. And maybe, that's not a bad thing. Maybe it means we've grown. Would you like this adapted into a video script, article format, or blog post style?